Hi.
Shh.
Shit, sorry.
We're dead.
Or you're dead. Hi.
Welcome back
To Silent Screaming Resurrected.
We're your hosts, Jordan Gradell.
I'm Patrick Hill. And if this is your first time listening to us, we are an ASMR horror comedy podcast where we talk about horror movies that we've watched in no particular order. Not often right after they come out, sometimes a little bit later because we have lives and jobs. How you do it, other podcast people? Pay us to find out how.
Yes. Money, please.
Money, please.
Today, we will be talking, discussing, and reviewing
Whispering.
A Quiet Place, Day 1.
Quite possibly the most ASMR movie of all movies, or franchises, rather.
But
what are we drinking first?
yes, more to come soon. Today, I made a very tart.
Ooh,
So I made a ranch water, but I put way too much lime juice in
I like it.
It's actually the 21 seed cucumber jalapeno tequila.
Ooh, I knew there was jalapeno in there. For some reason, it kind of has an aftertaste of a Jolly Rancher to me.
Oh, I could see that. It's the acidic acid, I think.
The acidic acid?
Yeah.
I love acidic
It's
acid.
the acidic acid.
It's my favorite.
I will say I was really excited to try this tequila.
It's good.
It is good. However, you will be smelling the jalapeno cucumber on your breath for at least the next 24 hours.
That's better than what I had. I had eaten something that had a lot of garlic in it earlier, and I smelled like the death.
I haven't had an appetite today. I had one chicken strip and 2 little chicken nuggets.
The chicken strip?
A chicken strip? If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
We only talk in Vine.
Vine is our love language.
Uh-huh.
But before we get into the actual main event,
Meat and potatoes, if you will.
let's do a little appetizer and talk about what movies what things rather we have been watching.
I love appetizers.
Jordan, what about you?
Well, I actually have been watching a lot of non-horror things.
Non-horror.
Yeah, I feel
traitor.
like, if in case you didn't know, because neither of us are big football people,
What is that?
but in case you haven't heard, there's this thing called football that men play. They don't use their feet most of the time.
Yeah, it never has made sense to me.
Yeah, sometimes they use their feet. Most of the
I
time,
always wondered if it's because it's kind of shaped like a foot, but not really either.
not really. Anyway, so there's a sport called football, and if you
mystery.
didn't know, it came back. Womp womp. It came back like 2 weeks ago. So that's what's been on in our house.
Oh, I guess that's what happens when you're like in a relationship or living with a straight man. Can't relate.
Yeah. Well, most of the time I go to the other room, but I've just been, I think also with like all of the political debates and everything going on in the world, like I've just needed to just watch something mindless and like uplifting. So I've been watching very lighthearted stuff, but the few things that I have seen that are horror or horror adjacent, the first one is, it's kind of a throwback to you. Did you ever see the movie Wolf Creek?
You know, I also just watched that.
Did you really?
recently.
Like that
Yeah.
Australian movie from like 2000?
I'd never seen it.
Me either. It was all right.
There's sequels apparently. I haven't watched them yet.
Yeah. Yeah, it was all right. It's definitely giving like early 2000s low
Very
budget
much.
horror movie vibes, stranded in the wilderness. It kind of reminded me of like Wrong Turn meets Hostel.
Made a wrong turn
Once or twice.
I don't know why my brain had to do that.
But yeah, I watched Wolf Creek. It was entertaining, you know?
It was okay.
It was okay.
I'm compelled by that villain, but also I was kind of like, okay.
Yeah, it was it was like you're not missing anything, but if you want to just like put something on, it's worth a watch.
It's worth your time.
I did. Speaking of worth my time, I actually went to the movies with someone other than you. I know. I went with my friend. I know. You're like my movie friend, and then now Jalen's my movie friend because he also loves to go to the movies. But we went.
Novel concept. We could like all go to the movie.
We could all go to the
Oh my
movies. We could all go to the movies. He lives so far north, though. I know. So I had to meet him in the middle, which I'm like, ugh.
Like downtown?
Like South Lamar.
That is 3 minutes for me.
But you have to remember though. Also, I live in not Austin. I live South Austin, and just getting
The burbs.
on I-35, like that whole construction area.
That whole
I'm in my construction era.
35 is, and it never leaves it.
Yes, exactly. So I went and saw Blink twice with him. It's that new film directed by Zoe Kravitz, and it stars Channing Tatum and other people. And it was so good. It was so good.
That was horror adjacent?
Yeah. It's like, okay, think of Get Out by Jordan Peele mixed with a dash of Midsommar.
Ooh.
It's
I love a dash of Midsommar.
It's like pleasant and happy on the surface, but then you can tell something sinister is lurking. And then at the end, it's very much like women empowerment type. Like it's a really interesting message. So I highly recommend. I won't spoil it because I went in blind and I enjoyed it that way. So I won't give much away. The only other thing that I watched, again, this is not horror, but it's more of like suspenseful, is I watched The Perfect Couple on Netflix with Nicole Kidman.
Oh, about the rich people?
Yes, and Dakota Fanning.
Was it good?
It was entertaining. It was like a whodunit, but like a rich white person version of it.
Got it. That makes sense.
Like I'm in the Hamptons and like this, like one of our wedding guests turned up murdered in our backyard. Who was it? Was it?
Oh my God. Sounds like Big Little Lies.
Yes. Was it the housekeeper? Was it the rich estranged woman? Was it the pregnant wife? Was it the cheating husband? Who knows? But it was
all of them. Spoiler alert.
Who knows? You have to watch and see.
Watch and see.
It was entertaining. I wish that there was like a little bit more momentum, but I mean, it was. I think the acting was great. It had some really strong actors, and like visually, it was pretty.
I love Miss Kidman. I do wish
this is Mrs. Kidman
Mrs.
to
Kidman.
you.
Well, that would be Mrs. Urban. Maybe it's Mrs. Kidman. I don't know how that works.
Well, she kept her last name, I think.
But are you still I guess you're still a Mrs.
Yeah.
That's just me being dumb.
That's okay.
But I love her. I do wish she would slow down a little on the
filler.
The filler.
I agree.
Because her acting is getting a little bit more, I'll say nuanced to be nice. Her face isn't moving as much.
Yeah. She's played like a lot of the same characters recently, and I'm just wondering if it's because she has so much Botox, she can't play anything else right now.
Well, yeah, if she was in like a period piece, it would not. It would not sell.
I love all the trolls from the recent Bridgerton season about how everyone in Bridgerton just had like pouty, puffy lip fillers and like a pillow face.
Yeah.
In like the
back then, you just sucked
1600s.
on something until your lips got real bloated, right?
Yeah, but everyone was like talking like this.
I mean, that's the trend.
That's the trend. What about you? What have you been watching?
I've actually watched a lot, but I guess we haven't recorded in a little while. So I recently just finished binging the series Evil. Have you watched that?
Yeah. Oh my God, I love Evil.
It was great, and it got canceled after 3 or 4 seasons, I think, and it was fantastic the whole time. And I followed a lot of the actors. Like I love the main girl whose name I can never remember. She's Dutch, so it's kind of Katja Herbers, something like that. Anyways, she's very good in the show, and she constantly on Instagram is like trolling the people who canceled the show because she's like, hey, so like it's still in the top 10 on Netflix and has been for the last 10 weeks. What the fuck? And it's like consistently one of the most watched TV shows still right now. Yeah. And it got canceled. And
yeah, I don't understand that either.
It's the whole streaming model where like they have all of these weird reasons why they do things. It's like about like the cost that they put into a show versus the cost that or the money they're making. And they make so many shows that they bank on half of them failing, I think, too. Oh. And it had 4 seasons, which compared to a lot of shows right now is a lot, because a lot of shows get 1 season and then they're done.
I am noticing that too. I think like now that we all have like TikTok brain rot, I think that we just lose our like attention. Like a show doesn't keep our attention for that long.
Well, it's not. I don't even know if it's that. I think it's also because back in the day, most shows would like crank out a 25 episode season and you would watch every single one. And now it's like you get 9 episodes in a season and then you have to wait 2 years for the next season.
Yeah. Speaking of which, House of the Dragon.
I love that show, but that season like was like a build up for
it was so nothing. I was so pissed.
We have to wait 2 more years for it. And granted, for shows like that, I understand the timeline for it taking so long because it's this huge big budget.
But give us something in season 2.
Truly, but like other shows, it doesn't make sense. We're not. Yeah. We've gotten so far away from that. Like here's 25 episodes, enjoy, which people will binge and watch over and over.
Unless it's Love Island.
Where they have, for some reason, an episode every day of the week, which I will never fucking understand.
I love it. It's necessary.
It's necessary.
For my mental health.
And also, they don't give shows more than 1 season to succeed anymore, which, if you think about the shows that we loved growing up, a lot of them, the first season was shit. Like, we didn't always love the first season, but then we're like, oh, you have to give it a chance until like season 2. That's when it gets really good.
Yeah.
And like now, if those shows had been around, they would have gotten canceled because
if you don't perfect. If you don't grab the attention of the audience after the first episode, like people have so many other options these days.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like back in the day, I don't know why Hey Arnold is coming to mind, but I think because I watched it on, I don't know if it was on Disney Plus or what platform it was on, but like, the first season, like, there was not a lot of depth to the characters. And I guess because it was, like, cable TV, like, we just watched whatever was on that channel because we had a handful of channels to choose from. And, like, it was either this or the news. And as a kid, you're like, well, I guess it's Hey Arnold.
Yeah.
I mean, Hey Arnold is great. But I agree. It's, like, the older seasons or the newer, the first... Time is weird.
The first seasons
of shows are never as good.
It's true.
They
never are. I also binged all of not really a binge, but I watched all of the Alien movies minus the new one, which I still haven't seen yet. But I've heard it's very good.
Yeah.
I had watched the first Alien, but I realized I'd never watched any of the others. And so I watched all the Aliens and all of the Predators. They're fine. The first one was still very good, but like the rest, okay. I love Prometheus. Prometheus is a great movie, and that's in the Alien franchise.
I don't know if I ever saw that one.
It's good. I watched Pontypool. You seen that?
Yeah, I do, but I don't remember it.
It was really like innovative, but also kind of boring, which makes me feel bad because I get like as a cinephile, you're supposed to be like, it's so good.
Yeah.
Which that was so gay. What was
that? That was like the gayest thing you've ever done.
So good.
What is it? Ew, pepper. Ew.
No.
What is it?
Ice cream, yummy.
Oh, ice cream, yummy.
What is that shit? I hate that
pepper,
shit.
Ew.
They're making money. I guess we need to start doing that with the podcast.
I know.
Gotta hop on there.
Exploiting ourselves.
But it was a zombie movie, but it was about a zombie infection that spreads via like words, like if people hear words.
Oh, maybe I haven't seen this.
It was very interesting, but nothing really happens in it.
Oh, well, maybe I won't see it.
But it was still good.
Okay.
That was a very confusing answer. I also watched Caveat, which is a movie that I thought was British horror. It was very good. It's on, what's the horror streamer called?
Shudder?
Shudder. It was very good on Shudder. I watched all 3 of the Open Water movies. And I realized I'd never seen them, any of them.
I've only seen the first one.
The second one has a premise that made me cry laughing because it's so fucking stupid.
What is it?
The second one is a group of friends who one of them has a luxury yacht and they go like to play on the yacht and go swimming and stuff and they forget to put the ladder down. So they're stuck in the water.
Rich people are dumb.
And there's a baby on the boat. So like they're panicking the whole time. But it's like truly the dumbest concept. It's like if you survive, it's like what happened? We forgot to put the ladder down and everyone died.
Freaking idiots.
So fucking. My favorite review of it though was someone said they should have just waited for the baby to grow up to be old enough to put the ladder down.
I literally was just thinking that.
I'm like, very funny. And then I also finally watched Night Swim. You're right. That was the shittiest movie I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh, I know.
It was so bad. And other than that, I've just been binging X-Files.
X-Files is great.
I missed X-Files, and I rewatch it every, 3 years, and here we are. That's really it. I did watch The Faculty, too, which is, like, a 90s kind of like horror teen thriller, alien thriller. It was like Body Snatchers, but the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. I kept hearing it was like a queer movie. Like there was going to be a lot of like queer, fun, gay shit in it, and there really wasn't.
This isn't horror, but it kind of is horror in a way. But I just finished Righteous Gemstones.
I've watched part of the first season of that, and I really loved it.
Oh my God, it's so good. And so, of course, now I'm like all obsessed with Danny McBride. So I'm going back and I'm watching Eastbound and Down. And then the next one is Vice Principals. So I'm going to go through and watch all of this grungy comedy. And I just love to I just needed a break. My brain just needed to laugh a little bit.
I get it. My brain has been enjoying horror because it feels still like escapist to me.
Yeah.
But I've also been home a lot because I had COVID after a trip recently. I'm sick. And I just haven't felt 100% since then, which has sucked, but...
Well, it's only downhill from here.
That's all she wrote. Do you want to take a little break and then talk about Quiet Place?
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Well, bye. And we're back.
We're back.
To talk about
the movie A Quiet Place. Oh my God, I almost forgot what it was. A Quiet Place.
I almost burped.
Day one. Don't get it wrong.
Day numero uno.
Oh my God, I need to chug my drink though because we need to get in the
Where
mood.
Did I drink? Did I leave it somewhere?
No, it's right there by your other drink.
I can't see. I can't, which would be a significant disadvantage in the Quiet Place.
Yeah,
universe.
yeah, you would die. But before we get into it, I am going to challenge Patrick to a game of what the heck is she talking about?
Is that the name?
I just dubbed it that.
Oh.
You've never played the classic what the heck is she doing?
I love what the heck is she talking about?
It's a family classic.
One of my faves.
So what's going to happen is you're going to put on your headphones, a different set of headphones than the one you currently have on, and you're going to play music as loud as your ears can possibly stand it.
Okay.
Without them bleeding. And I am going to say a phrase.
Uh-huh. I'm gonna get my
and you have to try to guess what it is that I'm saying.
Okay.
Speaking of which, while Patrick is getting situated, I was in the parking lot trying to figure out why my stereo wasn't working, so I kept like cranking it all the way up, and then finally it started working, and I have never in my life heard anything so loud. I'm really surprised the windows didn't shatter in my car.
Bless the windows out your car. What should I put on?
Literally anything.
Okay, it's gonna be Chapel Roan. I guess it needs to be upbeat Chapel Roan.
Yeah.
Actually.
Knee deep in the passenger seat.
Okay. As loud as it goes.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
But you just answered me. How do you know?
I could read your I can kind of hear you.
Okay, turn it up more then.
It's as loud as it goes.
There it goes. Okay. Are you thumbs up if you're ready? Okay, ready? I have to think of a phrase now. Hold on. Okay, here it goes. Your butt crack is showing.
Your body crashers.
Okay, we'll try it again. No.
Say it again.
Your butt crack is showing.
Your bedroom something. I don't know.
Okay, one more time. Your butt crack is showing.
Your boogie's chewy?
What is Okay, it was your butt crack is showing. Your boogie's chewy. Okay, we'll try another one.
I guess I really can't hear.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Let me think of one. Okay. My nipple clamps are red.
Boogie boogie is so gray.
My nipple clamps are red.
Bottoms Boogie. Gray feels like the last word.
Oh.
Am I yelling?
A little bit. Okay, one more time. I'm gonna say it slower. My nipple clamps are red.
Body burlaps are red.
You got red. Okay. My nipple clamps are red.
I'm not good at reading lips, I've discovered.
Okay, I'll give you one more.
Okay.
Let me think. Okay. Silent screaming is my favorite podcast.
Say it one more time.
Silent screaming is my favorite podcast.
Stripping is my favorite process.
Oh, you're close. Okay. Silent screaming is my favorite podcast.
Oh, silent screaming is my favorite podcast. Oh my God. I'm really bad at reading lips.
I think I'm pretty good at reading lips, but so we failed. We would not survive A Quiet Place because we can't read each other.
We have to just use like hand signals, but we're not very good at that either. Well, also in The Quiet Place, you wouldn't be trying to say my nipple clamps are red.
You don't know. You never know.
It's like, which ones are yours?
It's the red ones.
It's very important. But okay, into The Quiet Place, which came out a little while ago, but we're just getting around to it, you know?
It's now streaming if you want to go and watch it.
Yeah, I keep getting the ads, which I think are very clever, where they're like, A Quiet Place, day 1, now streaming.
Yeah. It's very ASMR.
I'm like, wow, we like that.
I was asking someone at work the other day, I was like, have you ever heard of ASMR? And he just started laughing.
Yeah.
I was like, so yes.
That's apparently yes.
What did you think? What were your first thoughts?
I really had a great time. A got Tom. I think it was really good. I think it was really well done. I think, I don't know if I was very excited about the concept of A Quiet Place cinematic universe movie that's set in like a populated area like New York. It's a really cool concept. You get to see more of like what the aliens do in not the country, I guess. Which was like super fucking much scarier for sure.
You can take the alien out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the alien.
Yeah. Also, speaking of that, I watched an interview with Lupita where my mouth stopped working. Lupita and Joseph Quinn, where someone asked a question about like, they said like Demogorgons or Death Angels. And she's like, what's a Death Angel? And Joseph Quinn's like, that's the name.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that either, though.
Yeah, well, they never say it ever in any of the movies.
Joseph Quinn did his research.
He was like, she's like, oh shit. It's very funny. But I mean, I think it was really good. I don't know I think I liked it better than the second Quiet Place, but maybe not better than the first one.
I agree.
Because the first one, I mean, it was also just a novel concept at that time. It's really going to be hard to beat.
Yeah.
But I think for what it was very well done. I think Lupita has never missed in her life. She's a fantastic
She's so
actress.
good. So is Joseph Quinn, though. I've
He's a
never
great
seen
actor.
anything that either of them have done that I'm like, eh.
Do you know his character was supposed to be gay?
Oh, why'd they write that out?
I don't know if they specifically wrote it out or it just was always supposed to be like in the subtext, but never directly mentioned. That's why they like don't have any sexual chemistry. They just have like a very like platonic friendship chemistry. But I'm like, straight people can have you can have a platonic friendship with straight people, right?
Yeah.
I'm asking you because you know, right?
I think so.
Okay, good to know.
Like I can have a platonic relationship with another straight guy?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's possible. But I think maybe there was a couple lines in like a deleted scene or something that made it more clear, but I don't think it was like intentionally like cut out. Probably just cut for time.
Honestly, I actually appreciate that there was not this like weird love situation. I feel like in almost every single movie, you have some sort of subplot or sub dialogue where two of the characters have this like romantic connection, and I just don't think that that's necessary in every situation. In a situation like this, the last thing you're thinking about or that I would be thinking about is like, oh my God, he's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, get the fuck out of my way and don't get me killed.
Well, she's also like got a terminal illness and is going to die soon.
True.
So like it wouldn't make sense for her. I mean, like maybe if you're like one more time, you know.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I do think that it kind of plot wise in some ways mirrored the first one maybe a little too much, at least the ending, spoiler alert. Felt very much like, you know, the end of the first one, John Krasinski gives up his life so his kids can survive. And in this one, she in effect gives up her life so Joseph Quinn and Kat can survive, you know.
To be honest,
like her
though, she
child.
still could have survived.
True.
She took herself out.
She chose, I mean, like she stayed.
Yeah.
And which was kind of like, I think, her giving up because to survive like long term, she probably would have needed to get on that boat. But yeah, she gave up her life at the end because she was, I'm assuming, in a lot of pain because she had like really debilitating terminal illness. But I like that it was like on her own terms, and it was really like a beautiful like death scene.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. But yeah, also thought it was really interesting. Alex Wolff is in there for a second too from Hereditary. And I think he's a great actor, but I also was surprised how short-lived his character was in the movie. I was like, oh shit, bye. Really fast.
See ya. Do you think that they put, because I've noticed they've done this in some other movies. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but they have like a really, you know, well-known, recognizable person.
To trick you.
Barbarian.
Yeah,
for
Bill
example,
Skarsgård.
They have them, and I think it just like adds to like the shock of it when they get rid of someone that's so well known.
And I like that because you're not using an A-lister. I mean, they did still use an A-lister for the lead roles, but like, I would love in a movie one day where they have like an A-lister in, well, I guess kind of Barbarian, because we didn't know Georgina Campbell as much at that time, the main actress.
Until Justin Long came
That's true.
along.
But I would love a movie with all unknowns except for one super known who dies really quick. That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
But
I feel like they kind of did that back in the Scream movies. They had Drew Barrymore in the opening, and I feel like she was definitely well known. I think she was
been famous since E.T.
Yeah, that's true. And then like Neve Campbell and you know some of the other. What's the guy's name?
I mean, Courtney Cox was pretty big, but
that's true. That's true. And
pretty
David
fucking
Arquette.
big. Yeah.
But you know.
I almost said, for some reason, I wanted to say David Archuleta, which is a completely different person.
That's a singer.
Yep. Yes, it is. From American Idol.
What's that guy's name? Lillard?
Matthew Lillard.
Yes. I don't think like any of them though, like the kids.
No,
like
at that
they were
point,
pretty
they weren't.
unknown. So I agree. I think that would be. I also noticed that this is my ADHD, but I do this a lot in episodes.
Yeah.
So
there's something I do too, but I can't really pinpoint it.
That's annoying. Sorry about that,
I'll
everybody.
I'll tell you after I edit next time what it is.
Okay.
But back to the movie, I think it did a really good job. Like the atmosphere was really cool. The aliens were really fucking, honestly, like I said, scarier in this one because the potential for noise was so much greater.
Yeah.
Like how you walk around New York City without making noise is impossible. A mystery to me. I loved the cat.
I love that he survived.
Though the cat was a little fucking idiot and kept doing stupid shit and almost getting everyone killed, like going into the nest at one point.
Oh my gosh, I know.
I was like, what the fuck? I read somewhere that there's going to be a Quiet Place Part 3, which continues to follow Emily Blunt's and her kid.
I don't think that's necessary.
We don't need any more. I love what you've done with the place or with this cinematic universe.
I think we are content personally.
It's the problem with horror franchises is they don't know when to quit because they see success as an indicator that you should make more. Which success sometimes means stop while you're ahead.
Right.
So we don't end up hating you in the end.
Yes.
Like Halloween.
Oh my gosh.
Fucking Halloween. Stop it. Stop making those.
Or Leprechaun, because the first one was just so good.
I've never seen any of those.
Really?
Wasn't Jennifer Aniston in the first Leprechaun?
You've never seen any of the Leprechauns? Oh boy, are you in for a treat.
Oh, no. That's on my list. I realized the other day I haven't seen any of the Leprechauns or any of the Candymans. There's only one Candyman until the remake.
Yep. Well, actually, don't quote me on that. There might have been a part 2. I think overall, I really liked it. I agree with you. I think it is not as good as the first one, but it is. I enjoyed it more than the second one. There's just something about like the reason I don't want them to bring back like the Emily Blunt character
'Cause I'm bored with
storyline.
them.
It's like, okay, we get it. Like, I liked relearning a new set of characters and like figuring out their dynamic and their personalities, and we got to see who they were before and then how they transitioned into survivor fight or flight mode.
The only thing I might be interested in the cinematic universe for Quiet Place is a more action-oriented movie that's like Quiet Place World War, where like they've now taken what they've learned from Emily Blunt's daughter.
It's like 5 years later or something.
Yeah, and now they're like using the sound to fight back against the
I
aliens.
would love that, actually.
And it's like a bunch of people fighting, but not Emily Blunt and her kids, like new people.
Yes. I think that's a great idea.
That could be really cool. John Krasinski, take notes. Though I don't even know if you're involved anymore. I think you might have sold the rights and moved on, which was a good career move, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. But I agree. I think that would be really fun. It'd be like Independence Day, but like
we could have the daughter
revamped.
again. I like her. I'm down to watch her in some.
Yeah,
some
she
more
can make a
stuff.
cameo and
Maybe
like
she's like one of the like generals
advisors.
or advisors. That'd be
Oh,
cool.
yeah. I think that would be really, really.
Wow, we
sweet.
should make movies. We should
Wow,
like
someone
write.
pay us for our brains.
Yeah, I would love money, please.
That's a great idea. I think that would be a really cool concept.
I think so too.
But I do wish that there was a little. I mean, I like that there was more action in this one than some of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
I just still like wanted more. I found that after they that scene where they're like in the water tunnel, like after that, and they were in the church, and then they like that whole like part of the movie kind of was slow to me.
Yeah, I got a little dredgy.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wanted the action to keep going, and it didn't. And
Yeah. Also on the
that's what it is.
some of the things I thought about with this movie, like logical things that I want to call bullshit on. Firstly, the military's strategy for notifying people that sound is what kills you is to have a low flying helicopter that circles over the city going, stop making noise, which really just means all of the creatures are just nonstop chasing this helicopter. I mean, I guess there's not another way.
It kind of reminded me in COVID times where everyone was like, make sure you wear gloves.
Mm-hmm.
Don't touch anything. Gloves is how you get. And we're all just walking around with gloves like idiots.
But it's just like, I feel like after the first couple of circulations around the city, they didn't need to do that no more.
Yeah.
Like they did it the rest of the movie. And I kept being like, hey, I think we've got it. I think we understand now what to do or what not to do. Though I will say in that scene of the whole like crowd moving down the street, they still made a shit ton of noise and everyone got killed because they wouldn't shut up. But
Yeah. Well, whenever that whole crowd was going, that's the last place that I would be.
yeah, I was like, as soon as they got in that crowd, I was like, no. Mm-mm.
Like, even just that many people walking together alone, even if no one is talking, that's still too much noise.
Yeah, just like the movement. I kept waiting for the inciting incident to be someone being like sneezing, like achoo, oh shit,
Or farting.
not a fart, and everyone dies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also think what you're supposed to assume from the end of the movie is that Joseph Quinn is like alive and living on that island afterwards, because Djimon Hounsou is the one guy who's in this movie and the second one. Who
I didn't catch that.
I was so bummed in Quiet Place Part 2 because he dies. He's like a really well-known actor, and he dies really fast in A Quiet Place Part 2. And I kept being like, what the fuck? This is like a huge actor. And then they brought him back in this one. I was like, okay, like if you combine his screen time in both of these, that feels appropriate.
I guess the screen time for him.
I mean, he was still a pretty small part. Of
Yeah,
this, but
literally
it was
like 2 seconds.
yeah, it was just supposed to allude that like that's where
They're going.
is
That makes
island.
sense. Yeah.
But,
Well,
but yeah.
Overall, I would give it like a 7.5.
I do love that she was willing to give it all up for a slice of New York style pizza, which like same girl.
I mean, the whole movie was about getting pizza.
Pretty much, which love it.
Yeah.
I want more horror movies where the entire plot is them trying to do some dumb shit.
They're already doing dumb shit.
Yeah,
Might as well lean into it.
absolutely. But yeah, well, that's all I really have to say about that. More cats and horror movies. That's fun.
I love cat. Now that I have a cat, I'm like, oh my
You're like
gosh,
a
give me
cat
all the
girl.
cats. I'm a childless cat lady, that's for sure. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe.
Please.
We love you. We support most of the things you do.
We won't sign off on them, but we will support in an abstract way from afar.
Yes, and I'll maybe unintentionally start rumors about you, but that doesn't mean we don't care about you.
In the wise words of Lizzo, all the rumors are true. Yeah.
Oh.
You're going to say bitch?
No, I thought she was saying babe.
Babe.
All the rumors are true, babe. It's a little sassy. Okay. Bye.
Don't.
Drink.
And.
Podcast.
Bye.
Bye.